Okay, it's rolling. Yeah.
Nice.
Woo. Oh, yeah. What's going on, guys? And today's video, well, I have a friend. I met him on Instagram. Well, he found me over. Actually, you tell me how you met me.
Oh, that's a great story. Kind of segue into what we're talking about today anyway.
Hmm.
I have never had a camera before, and it was really hard for me to decide what kind of camera I wanted to get. Obviously, didn't want to spend $10,000 or even like 1,000, 2,000 on a camera. And I think the M50 had just come out that year, 2018. So it was like between that and a Nikon. And at that point in my life, I was like, Canon, everyone talks about Canons. So that's what I'm going to get. So I bought the M50, watched almost every one of your videos for the Canon M50. Like it
Oh,
was a
yeah.
huge help for me to learn how to use it
Hmm.
because like, and we'll talk about this later, how we were kind of talking off mic about how this was even difficult for me to learn how to use. And then I upgraded my camera. But yeah, pretty much watched all your videos, learned how to use it, took it out, followed you on Twitter first, I think,
Hmm.
then Instagram, and then text message. And now here we are.
Yeah, so if y'all are new to this channel, I'm Ben, and well, I'm not sure how the video is going to record, but the other guy is Steve.
Yep.
Um,
Originally from New York, moved to California, trying to get Mr. Bindong out to the West Coast.
Eventually. So there's a lot of questions about the Canon M50 Mark II. I know I'm a little late to this chat, but better late than never. Um, Now I want to go to, let's see, screen share, desktop 2. Does that work? Oh, maybe it does. Do you see
Oh,
my?
beautiful. I totally forgot we could do this. I use Zoom like every day for work.
Cool. But
What could have been?
yeah. So this is the Canon M50 Mark II. If you haven't noticed or haven't seen it, Canon's been pushing it pretty good. At least I've seen some ads on it. Um.
I was so hyped when I saw it on Instagram when they posted it.
Mhm.
I was like literally gonna pre-order it, and then watched a couple of Reddit, watched a couple of videos, and then I was like, oh man, it's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. So, the biggest question is it worth the upgrade from the Mark I or the Canon M50?
That is the question.
This is a hard one because it's the same retail price as the regular M50, but is it worth the upgrade?
It's
Ah,
for what they did, it's definitely worth someone else to be their first camera. I'll tell you that much. I
oh
mean,
yeah, for sure. If you don't have a camera already, the M50 Mark II is definitely a camera you want to get. But if you have the M50 already, I'm not. I don't know. Looking at let's go with the specs a little. I don't know. Where should we start?
I think it literally has the exact. I don't think there's anything different really regarding.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything that couldn't be done with the firmware update.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do feel that this Mark II is like a firmware update or a very small incremental hardware update. It's one of the reasons why the M6 Mark II I didn't get into that because it wasn't really a substantial upgrade besides kind of software things, and they pushed a little 4K here. And I was looking through the specs on this, and 4K is, they say we'll have the dual pixel autofocus, but it doesn't say you'll have dual pixel autofocus in the 4K because if y'all noticed if y'all seen the my videos on the Canon M50, the Mark I, 4K did not have dual pixel autofocus and it used contrast autofocus, and it just was slow. So if it has 4K with the dual pixel autofocus, that'd be solid. But the caveat for that is 4K is limited to 23.98 or 24 frames a second, which isn't bad, but it's
That was
just
definitely,
limiting.
yeah, that was definitely one of the things that I was hoping they would upgrade to at least 30 and 60. I didn't think after talking to you that they would go as high as like 120 frames per second.
Mm-hmm.
But I was thinking at least 30 or 60, but it doesn't look like we're getting that.
I think 4K 60 is a little pushing it for a $700 camera, but at least 4K 30 because most people's timeline these days are 30 frames a second. If you're a cinematographer, maybe you shoot at 24, but most people that point and shoot is 30 frames a second. But let's go to Canon's ad. So right here, they're introducing the new EOS M50 all-in-one camera for everyday user, content creator with streaming capabilities. So Canon's really pushing the Mark II with its streaming capabilities. So I believe I read that you can stream to social media straight from the camera. That's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, I've read that as well. This looks like it's kind of like literally a vlog, like a literal vlogging camera for like a beginning influencer. Like everything is ready out of the box for like simple getting your videos ready for like Instagram. I think they said it has something like a vertical mode, and I don't know. I thought you could shoot video, but I think it natively flips it for you, so you don't have to do it in like post production.
Yeah, I don't understand that because if you turn the camera 39 degrees either way from horizontal, it's going to be a vertical video.
I don't know. That's what it said in the promotional video that they had on their website.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely kind of want to get my hands on this, but we'll see. We'll see.
It looks exactly the same, like literally.
It sure does. So we can go through the photos. Yeah.
There's nothing different. I'm holding it right here, looking at the pictures. It's exactly the same. Now, the other guy that I watched his videos, he was like, maybe the M50 Mark II is going to be, well, I don't know. In general, when they create a new camera like a Mark III, they stop selling the old ones, or do they keep selling the old ones?
It depends. I know they put it on sale sometimes, like for Black Friday or whatever. So that might be a good chance for somebody to sweep up the regular M50 if it's on sale. So if you had a choice between the M50 or the M50 Mark II at retail, $699, buy the M50 Mark II. That's hands down.
Oh yeah,
assuming there's no issues with the Mark II. I say that because I have a G7X Mark III and I have the Mark II, and I would definitely point people to buy the Mark II over the Mark III just for stability issues, because even though they had firmware updates on the Mark III, there's definitely some autofocus weirdness still with the Mark III.
It would be kind of cool if they literally like, because the camera's so cheap that they could easily sell them out. Like, you know, if they had overstock on a $6,000 camera, they'd probably take a while to sell them. But the Mark I or the original, if it's like $600 and they say they put it on sale for like 500, who knows? It'll sell out really fast and there'll be none left. So it'll be like, you know, whoever has one has one. Whoever wants one will get the Mark II. So maybe if there's like literally no M50s left to buy, maybe they will just upgrade the firmware. So it's like everyone would have, you know, I wouldn't want to update to the new camera. Like, why would I buy it when I could just upgrade my firmware? But someone who doesn't have a camera would obviously buy the new one because there would be no old ones. I don't know. I thought that was maybe something they were trying to do.
Still in 2020, I know I shot the M50 videos 2-3 years ago. In 2020, like 2 years ago, 2 years after or 3 years after, I still recommend the M50 for a beginner photographer or even a videographer. If you have $600, it's a solid camera, and I'm sure the M50 Mark II will be the same way, be a solid camera. Now, if you have you know, an M100, one of the less capable Canon mirrorless cameras, or an old M6, yeah, the M50 is a solid upgrade.
You had that camera. Oh, that was the one you did the unboxing for like a week ago?
No. This is one of the cameras I pitted the M50 and the M6 against. It's like the M50, but it has a lot of missing buttons, and
Okay.
everything is in the menu to change. It's a solid camera. It overheats if you shoot 1080 60. So that's the question: will the
Um,
M50 Mark II overheat shooting in 4K? The G7X Mark III does. So did anybody ever confirm if there's a crop with the 4K and the M50 Mark II? Because the 4K on the M50 was pretty solid, minus the autofocus slowness, but the video was solid. So I wonder if the
I
Mark
couldn't.
II has uncropped
Yeah, I
4K.
didn't find it officially. I googled everything. I looked on their website. It doesn't
Hmm.
say it. Actually, wait. I think it did say it, or I think it's in this in the specs where it says it shoots 4K. I think there's an asterisk. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
it
wrong.
says shoots 4K. Let me share the screen again. Hang with
But
me. This is our first video together. So it says 4K UHD, which is and a star asterisk one. Oh, okay. There it is. That is confirmed. Shooting takes place by cropping pixels from the center of the sensor.
sons of bitches.
Contrast detection autofocus is used. So, okay, so this is definitely not an upgrade for the regular Mark One,
Yeah.
unless you want the streaming capabilities with this camera. But who doesn't have a phone or an iPhone or an Android phone that can do that now
Yeah.
without hooking to a Wi-Fi and all that? That's
Imagine like it'll be the
wow.
first time ever a Mark device is just a firmware update. That would be crazy.
Wow, this is actually very disappointing. Now that I'm reading this, fail. So it
Yeah,
really is
everyone.
a what you call it, a firmware
Firmware
update, quote
update.
unquote. I mean,
Yeah, which
they're using the newer processor in it, but
are
it
they? Or are they using the same one? Digit
it's a Digic
8?
8.
I think that's what the first one has.
Oh, great. Canon.
Because the new one is the 10, or I don't know.
I think 8
Let me go into that.
is their latest processor. I don't keep up as much as I did before, because nothing
It's
really
funny.
has changed in the camera industry. To be honest, it's just
I always
packing.
wonder, like, what they could do, like, with all the technology, like, what can you do to make something so much better besides upping, like, the pixels or,
Mhm.
there's only so much you could do in technology now,
Yeah, for
besides making
sure.
stuff smaller and less and more affordable. But
Yeah, actually, it has the Digic A. So you're right. It's literally a firmware update. They didn't even update the processor. Huh.
it's that, yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad, the list that we shared. Like, I don't know about, obviously for you with your professional cameras, for you to upgrade, there needs to be like significant upgrades, I'm assuming, because they're much more expensive and you're doing more
Yeah.
professional shoots. Like for you, you know, if this was like well, regardless of how much it costs, it's not an upgrade. But
For sure.
literally, people really just wanted 4K advancements and a clean HDMI port. Like that's all people really wanted. And
Hmm.
I don't think we got any of that.
It's interesting because they put the full sensor 4K in the G7X Mark III. I know I'm bringing up the G7X Mark III, which is the closest thing that Canon has ever put out that's as good as the Sony RX 100s, but that's another talk for another day.
Yeah.
The Canon's
So
definitely dropping the ball on that G7X because there's a bunch of content creators and teeny boppers trying to be YouTubers these days, and that was the camera. It still is the camera to buy, and yeah, The M50 at least has the M50 Mark II at least offers clean HDMI, so that's
Oh,
something.
does it?
Mm-hmm. At least I read that somewhere.
Do you think that's a firmware? Do you think that is a firmware, like something that's firmware related?
Oh yeah,
To
for
get rid
sure.
of the overlay?
Because being clean HDMI is just an overlay that they just put over the image, so that's something. Yeah.
Well, if they drop a new firmware, I mean, I'm obviously going to upgrade, but
Yeah, see, clean HDMI output for the Canon M50 Mark II, which the Mark I did not have clean
I wonder if it
HDMI.
has, does it say anything about the ports? Because besides the HDMI out port, the only other port is a USB, like an Android one, but it's the thicker one. I don't know.
Connections. I mean, the Mark I had the micro USB port on it, and I doubt they put a USB-C on here. I could be wrong. Recording systems. Yeah. Interface. Okay, so it has a micro B. So yeah, it still has a USB. It's literally the same camera. Wow, that's kind of overwhelming. Yeah, so I'm sure it'll be a good camera for people that don't have a camera already or have a really older camera. But from the Mark I, I just can't see an upgrade. And it's kind of sad
Nope.
too, because there should be leaps and bounds when you make a revision change like this. And like, I know some people get gear acquisition syndrome, and they always want to buy gear, which is kind of cool. I mean, if you have the money, go ahead and buy the gear. But I always lean to the fact of buying new gear when you have outgrown the one you have right now.
Yeah.
And we can talk about like. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's a good segue, the way you framed it, until you outgrow the gear you have. Like, I wouldn't have known that I outgrew that camera until I bought my new camera.
Yeah, I mean, you and I talk a lot, and you started asking me questions where it's like, okay, he's ready for that full frame life. So from an M50 all of Canon's mirrorless cameras, at least the M series, they're all crop sensor 1.6 times crop sensors. They're not full frame, so the logical upgrade to one of the Canon M series cameras is a full frame camera, which you can go into the brand new Canon R6 or the R5, or even go into the Canon Rs. But if you want to venture out, you got a exciting little camera recently.
Yes, I think it was last weekend I picked up the Sony A7 III.
He's a traitor.
Actually, a guy at Best Buy who's not a Best Buy worker answered all my questions.
Yep, I feel the same way when I go to Best Buy and just hang around the camera aisle. Random people just ask you questions.
Yep.
But yeah, you got the A7 III.
Not the other one is the A7R3.
Yeah, there's an A7R3, and Sony just released a A7S III, which I'm kind of interested in because I have the A7 II, which is solid. And
yeah, this camera I think would have been kind of what I was expecting the Mark II M50 to be. Not everything, obviously, but some of the things that are in there. Like, I think the one selling point for me was, since I do more, like I'm learning more picture taking than video taking, was you said, you should shoot on a full frame camera. So that was one, and everything from Canon that was like around the range of the M50 or maybe like $1,000, they all had drawbacks. Yep. And I wasn't actually expecting to spend $2,000 on a camera for my second one. Like, I didn't think I was, but I read everything. I asked them all the questions, and I was like,
he won the lottery.
I like how it looks. Yeah. And I mean, it's full frame. It doesn't crop the 4K. As USB-C, I believe. The one thing that blows my mind, though, and it's not like hardware related, Sony's app is terrible.
Yeah, so
The connected to your phone. Oh
so
my
the
God,
Sony
it's so
has
bad.
definitely gotten better over the years, but their interface using the camera is kind of archaic, very
Yeah,
sequential.
it does
It's
have 100 friggin'
yeah,
folders to look through.
it's definitely not as elegant as the Canons, but I definitely, out of Nikon, Canon, and all the other companies like Sony, Canon definitely have the most user friendly interface, which I know that's very subjective, but um, it's, if you play with all of them, you know what I mean. But yeah, full frame is definitely the go-to because you have, you know, better depth of field, you have better noise in the photos and videos, or less noise, I should say. It's a whole new world,
Yeah.
literally.
And they threw in the like 25-cent lens hood that Canon refuses to give you with their
Yes,
lenses.
unless you
Like,
buy an L series lens from Canon, Canon does not give you the lens hood. At least
crazy.
none of the lenses I bought.
Yeah. So I love the dials. Like I was telling you, how it is a dedicated dial for everything, aperture,
Mhm.
ISO, and shutter speed. I just don't understand why they don't have a flip out screen that like the M50, because this
Yeah,
would be perfect for like, it's not too big. With this lens, it's kind of heavy in the front, but it still would be a perfect vlogging camera for people who do that. Some people still use it because, you know, they're more advanced and they pay and they purchase the just a dedicated screen.
mhm.
But
The flip
like,
out screen is definitely something you want if you shoot video, at least
yeah,
selfies using videos or talk a vlog. And I think Sony finally added the flip out screen on the A7S Mark III. Finally.
that would be
Yeah.
good then, because this definitely has good face detection, and I like
Mhm.
how it doesn't matter what um, focus mode you're in. If you have face detection on, it overrides it. So if you're like just shooting and then, you know, you want to take a picture of your friend, you don't have to go back in and change the setting. You
Mhm.
just shoot it,
It's
it'll pick
automatic.
up the face on the eyes, and then whatever focus setting was in shuts off.
How
So you don't have to
how
worry about
how quick is it? Is it pretty quick?
really quick. As soon as it
Oh,
gets a
nice,
face, it switches. And then once the face is gone, it goes right back.
nice.
Yeah, it has a
Canon.
lot of cool servo. Well, Canon calls it servo. Sony calls it something else. It's pretty much the same thing where it tracks really well.
Hmm.
So for every focus option they have, and there's 5 of them, 5 focus options. Then the 6th one is all 5, but with detection. So you could pick any one, and then now you just hold it down and it'll track it. It's pretty cool.
Canon's tracking even on the M50s is pretty solid if you mount a fast enough lens. But yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
haven't played with any of the Sony um, tracking modes, but yeah, it's really cool
I'll
if you
put it
shoot
back in the
sports or
box.
anything.
You come here, I'll put it back and we'll do an unboxing.
Unboxing, a reboxing, then an unboxing.
Yeah, a reboxing. No one's ever done that. You should do that.
Hmm. I don't know. So back to the M50. I mean, it's something. I'll
I'm
debate
definitely
if
not
I
getting
want
rid of
to.
mine,
Yeah, for
because if
sure.
I go to like Disneyland or something,
Hmm.
I would much rather carry something smaller if I'm going to take videos or quick pictures.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, plus you can't really stand around and take pictures. That's why I stopped taking it. There's so
Hmm.
many people that you can't really just sit there and like frame something for a couple of minutes. You get bumped into. But I haven't been there since coronavirus came into our
Oh
lives.
no.
So next time I go, I'm going all out probably. But yeah,
Hmm.
I'll definitely take the smaller M50 with me.
Yeah, that is a perk of a smaller camera. I mean, Sony has the smaller cameras too, the Sony A series lines, and they're solid. Canon just needs to, you know, pick up the M series cameras and make it a little more usable for 2020.
Yep,
Hmm.
still love this. Still a beautiful little camera.
It is a beautiful camera, and it works very well for most uses. I mean, there's like for $600 or $700, it's nothing wrong with that camera. Shoots
Yeah.
1080p solid, shoots 4K if you really want to go down that road. Focuses fast. It does everything. I mean, I really like the camera,
Yep. It's
but
built really well too. It doesn't feel
mhm,
cheap. And I like how it's kind of formed like a DSLR.
mhm.
They try to make it like look like one. It's just a small version.
Yeah, for sure. Size is everything, depending on what
Oh
you need it
yeah.
for. Oh yeah. So I think that's our little chat and hangout. You know, if any of y'all viewers have any questions, feel free to put them down below. I'm gonna try to make videos for each question, or at least all the good questions. So if you have a good one, a video might come of it. Definitely need some ideas. I know Steve over here has given me a bunch of ideas. I just have to get off my butt and shoot some videos. But
Once he
yeah,
starts shooting, he'll have videos for like months.
hmm
Even if you drop 2 a week, you'd have videos for like 6 months.
it's the motivation of actually getting the videos out. But yeah, guys, if you have any questions, or girls, if you have any questions, leave them down below. You can catch me on Instagram. That's a great place to message me at Binh Dong, is BINH DONG. Where can they find you?
My Instagram is strange177A, and my photography page, which I'm starting to add some pictures to, is 31 Photography.
Mm-hmm.
THREE, the number one photography. We
Oh
could link
yeah,
it below because I probably got that wrong.
yeah. I'll definitely make the link somewhere right here. Not a link, but I'll show you guys, or maybe actually a link in the description. Yeah, a little rusty
Yeah.
on this thing. Link in the description down below. But
For sure.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, guys, if you made it to this far, thank you for watching, and until next time. Oh yeah.